Welcome to another Friday Fireside Chat. In this one, I want to get a little bit more practical here. And while I am aware it doesn't specifically pertain to the stock market itself, from a very practical perspective, it could certainly negatively affect your journey in the stock market, whether that's kind of derailing it for a little bit, not allowing you to start when you want, or just totally making it so you'd have to put something on the back burner. So I just want to kind of bring it out, encourage you, not to pat myself on the back, but just let you know that this stuff does happen, and it can happen at really bad times. But this is why you need to be prepared. This is why, especially if you've listened to the podcast, and I suppose here on the channel, I'm sure I've mentioned it, why I always say, listen, if you don't have your personal finances in order first, if you don't have a plan and strategy for your personal finances first, then you have no business being in the market. Because if you can't organize and run your own personal life as a business and have, like I said, a strategy and a method for it, then what makes you think you're going to be able to have any chance of success in trading, when trading is definitely supposed to be treated as a business? Now, if you're just using the stock market as, you know what, I don't feel like getting dressed. I don't feel like paying for a plane ticket out to Las Vegas. So I'm just going to use the stock market and be a degenerate gambler at home in my basement. All right, that's fine. At least you're being realistic with yourself. But if you actually want to have long-lasting and consistent success, then you need to treat it as a business. But like I said, step one in all that is, how are your personal finances doing? Because if your personal finances aren't taken care of, then what happened to me could very well derail you from your ambitions or just kind of throw a monkey wrench into things. And this was just, I'll put it this way, as soon as this all happened, I'll explain what I mean, my mind immediately went to this scene from probably one of the greatest movies of all time.
Talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, that's all I could think of was talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time. What happened? Well, think back a few weeks ago, we had that big polar vortex that came through, and I saw some stuff on social media. Chicago was literally colder than like Siberia and Antarctica. And where I am in Grand Rapids, Michigan area, we didn't get quite as cold as Grand Rapids, but I'll put up a screenshot and let me check it just to make sure I'm not lying. Yeah, so when all this was happening, and I'll explain what this happening is, but in my neck of the woods, you can see right there, -4, and then down below there, you see the feels like temperature, -23. So it was cold. It was cold. And then this happened. What is this? Well, my home's furnace broke. Literally broke. Uh-oh. Not good. And this is what brings up the point. Yeah, life happens. Yeah, life can happen at very inconvenient situations. And talk about inconvenient. Not only was it super cold, this was like you remember back, it was news all over the place about the polar vortex and how cold the country was in different parts. And it was like a record-setting first time in decades that it got this cold and the furnace breaks. And this is a situation where if you are not prepared for it, then, you have to take on debt. There are some situations where it's like, okay, do you really have to take on debt? But and this is what's kind of funny is it was literally life or death. Like, that's not an exaggeration. You can't be like, well, it's super cold. We're not going to get the furnace fixed because we have to save up, and saving up for it's going to take multiple months. So we're just going to leave it cold. And you got pipes that could, it's literally one of those situations in life from a personal finance perspective where, no, you have to fix it, and you have to fix it now. And this is why you want to be prepared, because if you're not prepared, then there's a risk that, well, there's not a risk. The solution is, well, you're going to have to throw it on some sort of credit card, or you're going to have to do something that requires taking on debt. Whereas the person with the prepared finances and the strategy in place, I'll put the screenshot up on the screen here too, but it ended up costing me $3,509.94. And I don't say this in a bragging way. I say it in more of it's possible. You can do it too. Yeah, it's not always pleasant to be setting money aside but I could take that money and go, that would be fun. But you got to have a plan, and part of a good structured plan to have your strategy, or to have your personal finances, backed by a strategy that works, is You got to be prepared to address must-fix situations that happen at bad times and not allow risk to come into your life. That risk being debt. And I get a lot of people already have debt. So imagine that. If you already have debt and then something like this happens where you have to fix it and then you just have to add more debt and then things can just compound against you that much more. And if you have ambitions and you're trying to get into the stock market and something like this were to happen, that's just going to set you back that much more. It's going to just make life, it's going to make trying to accomplish your ambitions within the market that much more difficult because life happens, and life can happen at really bad timing too. Talk about the wrong place at the wrong time, but you need to be prepared for it. And a lot of people I see, and listen, I'm not bragging, but they'd be like, well, I got to go credit card. And I understand. I would say, yeah, you do have to go credit card because it's negative 23 out and your furnace just went down and you have a family. Now, if it was just me, I don't know. I might have tried to go Viking mode and survive it, but I'd probably be dead by now. Anyways, but I have a family, 4 young kids, so it's like, okay, well, this is a must-do, but I had cash and I paid for cash. Now, does that mean that it didn't sting? Yeah, I don't like writing checks for $3,500 that go towards a furnace, which probably shame on me, I kind of take for granted in the first place. But when you write checks for things you take for granted, it's not fun. But could you do it? And that's my challenge to you. Could you, if there was some sort of, let's just call it $1,000 situation. If a $1,000 emergency came up, $1,500 emergency came up, where would you stand right now in your personal finances? Ask yourself. If you're thinking, I would have to put it on a credit card. I would have to take debt. I would have to introduce risk into my personal finances. Again, risk being debt. Then I would encourage you, you know what? You have other things to work on right now. You need to focus more so on getting your personal finances in order rather than pursuing trading. And I get it. This is very counterproductive for me from a business perspective. Now, yes, I do offer a personal finance course, which I will put a link to down below. That is how I manage my finances. And I guess in some way, this is the kind of case study that I do practice what I preach. This occurred, I was able to pay for it in cash, and that's what part of the method and the strategy is that I teach. But my point is, yeah, the course that I offer is $129. And I'm telling you, consider that. If you are like, wow, yeah, if I had a $1,000 emergency, $1,500 emergency, and I would have to go to debt, there's a problem in your finances. And you need to get that taken care of first. And I have no ulterior motive because here I am, well, Clay, you just said you're selling me a course for $129. That's ulterior motive. Yes, I realize that, or I could just not even ever do this video and keep trying to force, my other courses from claytrader.com, and those cost a whole lot more than $129. So this is literally just me directing your attention to something that genuinely is more important. And it very well may cost me some revenue because maybe you're on the verge of, well, I'm going to go and spend buy a course for, I don't know, $347. I think one of them I offer is $347. But now I'm saying, no, don't spend the $347. Take $129 of that, buy the course, get your personal finances in order, and then after that is all in place, then you can come back to this trading stuff. Because there's no way trading is ever going to work out if your personal finances aren't, for these very reasons. Stuff happens, and something like this. I mean, like I said, I was just asking you about $1,000, $1,500. But what would a $3,500, just random must fix? I can address it later, but no, a must fix. Maybe a little more. What if your car breaks down and the bill is $3,500? I mean, what would you do? If your answer is, I would have to take on some form of debt. And remember, borrowing money from other people, that is a form of debt. Friends, family, unless they're just giving you the money, which I guess bless their hearts, that is still a form of debt. So just be aware. This stuff happens. It happened to me. It happened to me at a really bad time, but I was able to take care of it because I do have a strategy in place. And finally, I'll end on this. Yes, I'll talk about the course. Not only have I already directed your attention away from other courses that I offer that are more expensive, but I also offer a 1-year money-back guarantee with it. So if that's not kind of me putting my money where my mouth is in the sense of my stuff really does work, my strategy works, my method works, I'm not quite sure how else I could convince you of that. So yeah, if you are somebody where one of these situations would kind of throw a monkey wrench into your situation, then I hope you consider the course. Let me know if you have any questions on it. But be prepared. Personal finances first, and then you can focus on all the stock market and trading stuff.
If you are out there trading alone currently and maybe are in the market looking for a community to join to assist you in your trading or to just help you, give you another set of eyeballs, then I do have a private trading community where you can trade alongside me and other experienced traders. So what you see popping up on the screen right now is both an information link. So if you click on the inner circle one, that is going to take you to the page where I explain all the details of what exactly come with the community, both the chat room and the newsletter. And then the other image that has popped up is a behind the scenes tour where you can see exactly what is going to be contained within the community. I take you through, like I said, a behind the scenes tour of everything, and that way you'll know precisely what you are getting when you join. So definitely check that stuff out if you are interested and thinking about wanting to join a community, and let me know if you have any questions.